Another week, another dub. We're going to dive into what all of that means here on the Sooner or Later Sports Show, a Hawk Media production presented by Sleeper. This is Coop. I am Jay. Thanks for pulling up here on the YouTube channel and listening wherever podcasts are downloaded and listened to while you're here. Please wipe your feet, like, subscribe, rate, review. Give us 5 stars. I think we deserve it. Go ahead and give us 5 anyway, baby. Gifted. So, on today's episode, we got so many things to break down from, I guess you could say our first one of the year, right? Our first shutout. We're going to talk about what that actually means for the Sooners going forward. We're going to take a look at the polls because the Sooners dropped and so did the Texas Longhorns. We're going to also wrap things up going around the SEC and kind of what our schedule looks like going forward. Because, Coop, if you really think about it, is it really a gauntlet? Coop, happy Sunday, my man. How are you doing on this fine Sunday evening?
Jay, I'm spectacular. I was a little rushing around. Had my nephew's birthday party at Incredible Pizza. That's something. But yeah, man, it's pretty good. I do think that this usually is a very, very exciting time of the year, right? Like the OU Texas week hits, and you're like, maybe it's going to give us a little fall feeling outside, but it's going to be like 90 tomorrow. So maybe by Monday or Tuesday, I'll start to feel, I'll start to feel it because it was hot. It was hot out there on Saturday.
Oh, I bet it was. And I'm glad that you all went out there to the game. You all endured a lot of it. I know that most of you did not survive the entire game, so we're not going to pretend like y'all were actually there during the heat of the game for some. I know Coop was there the entire time because him and his daughter finally got some autographs and stuff. So it's beautiful to see the players. Michael Hawkins did get his QB1 treatment. The fans were there for him and supportive. So we do appreciate all of that. Yeah, man, we've got to go ahead and break down kind of what went down in this game. So, of course, as y'all know, Sooners won 44-0. Got our first goose egg of the season, which should have been our third, but it's okay. Interceptions did allow for us to not get that. And because of the way this team played, shout out to our guy RDS, Rated Dirt Sports, get your behinds in the water. All the things and proclamations that I asked for, we did not get. Yes, Jenny, please, thank you for reminding of this. We did not rush for 300 yards. We barely got 300 yards of total offense in general. But it did feel like 100% that it was like the Illinois State game. It felt like we were really, getting everybody warmed up. Coop, when you looked at this game, how'd you feel?
Coming out of the game, I thought, man, yet again, you throw out a goose egg. It's your first one. You end up 2-0 or +2 on the turnover margin. And there's still a load to coach up. And then, went back and rewatched the game. And I got a lot of thoughts because, man, we scored in our, 7 of our first 8 possessions.
Yeah.
And we had like 3 other possessions. I mean, like you had 3 possessions in the first quarter, or was it 2? 2 in the first quarter, 3, and so you're like, what, but then also I was like, man, there's a lot of like wide receivers, a little running kind of open, and I had concerns about that, and so going back and rewatching it, I'm like, every single time that I saw something goofy happen, it was 3 guys who hadn't played on the same field, together yet this season. So it's like one of the most coachable, 44-point shutouts you would ever, probably seen. So, I mean, it was sleepy. I mean, Jay, I'll just start out by saying it was a very, very sleepy game. I don't know if I've ever sat down during play before at a game in my life. And I bet I sat 40% of the game.
Which it's not a bad thing, I guess you could say. It was what you would have expected out of a game against Kent State. So when you look at the numbers itself, we had 185 rushing yards, 170 passing, 355 total yards in the game. And again, it really, really did feel like we were just out there going through a lot of the motions. This was one of those, as you said, is a coachable game because the film shows you that you kind of just play down to the competition. You're like, we're going to blow them out. Let's just do what we need to do to get right there at the spread and keep going about our day. We did. The fact that we got the shutout is what was most important.
That's very, very, very much. And, I mean, Kent State helped us out with that. I mean, they went for like 4th and 4. And that might have been one of the only times of the whole weekend that like the crowd actually like woke up just around the entire stadium, was to get after him on that 4th down. And I mean, I will say this on offense, it felt like there was no pace. It felt very scrimmagey, and as having a bunch of guys out there playing. I'll have my critiques on the offense when we want to do that part, Jay, but I just can't see how, like, it's pretty quiet, middle of the day. Like, the defensive line, those guys probably, the defensive line and anybody playing special teams, those are the MVPs of the day. But everybody else was just kind of like, we know what this is.
Yep. Exactly. That, and you could tell what the players out in their minds frame was. I'll say 2 things happened in this game that's most important. One, for the most part, we left this game unscathed. Keep a prayer up for our guy Keontae Lewis. It sounds like he is walking around, moving. They took him off site just for a precautionary, but he's good. Back bothering him. I think I've heard one of the insiders mention it as something spine related, that was the concern, if anything, but all tests were negative for him, so that's a good thing. He's walking around and everything. I know everybody's freaking out about the brick back there that's been there for like 75 plus years. First time anything's ever happened, and unfortunate. It's very unfortunate. Football's a violent sport. We'll keep praying for him. But the thing is, he's good. He's moving around. He's probably not going to play this weekend, which is good. Give him some time to take a break. But you got Giovanni back, and that catch he made was pretty darn impressive. So,
hey, welcome back. Weird. Welcome back. Get hung up. I mean, it's like it's kind of like he stopped his body, his legs. It kind of looked like a cartoon, like his ass was going out, his legs and his arms are going forward, and then the defensive back was going a different direction. So it just looked all kinds of funky on it.
Looked like if you go back and play NCAA football 2014 and the game glitches on a tackle that's caught in midair and you're just kind of hanging. That's what it looked. It looked like a video game catch and fall. And you're like, wait, he really caught it and I got credit for it. And that's exactly what it looked like. But Giovanni's back. So you get a receiver. You unfortunately lose one, but you gain a receiver. Besides that, you're basically unscathed. And so let's jump right into, we got to talk position ball because that's really the most important. Let's start with the one that deserves all the flowers. We're going to start defense. Before we do that, though, shout out to our partners at Sleeper. If you're not using them for daily fantasy football or daily fantasy sports in general, you are missing out. They are hooking everybody up. They're going to give you $20 just for signing up. No deposit required. Use our promo code UNFAIR, but if you decide to deposit, they're going to give you $100 if you deposit $100. And I jump in there and I play quite often. You just pick 2 or more players, pick more or less, and you can win up to 1,000 times your money, which turns your game days into paydays. So download the app. It's one of the top apps out there. Use our promo code UNFAIR. You're going to get $100 if you deposit $100. But if you decide not to deposit, they're going to give you $20 for signing up. New users only. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. Thank y'all for pulling up. Hit the like button. New to the channel, subscribe, rate, review, give us 5 stars. We definitely need to give flowers to the most important side of the ball right now in this defense. Coop, we gave up in this game a total of 135 yards. One big play, one big catch, which was a 32-yarder. 35-yarder, which was, I'm going to not lie, that was a very impressive catch. 34-yarder by Ardell Banks. Like, literally, Jordan was draped all over him, and somehow this dude made the catch. Mad props to him being able to figure that out. But we made life difficult for them, only giving up 112 passing yards and 17 rushing yards in this game. It's basically everything you could ask for from his defense. And if there's an MVP on the defensive side of the ball, I'm probably going to give it to David Stone. That dude showed the flip out. Congratulations, dog. That dude, we got what we wanted, man.
It's, David Stone he's at a level right now, Jay, to where I made a joking, joke Twitter-wise. It really wasn't that big of a joke, but I said, he's been living in the opponent's backfield more often than the running back. And, dude's literally the, highest ranked defensive lineman in college football right now. It's like every single play I think at one point he blew up a play into the backfield to where the whole play was just toast immediately. And R. Mason wrapped up the running back, and David was mad, and he chased back the guy and started pulling him backwards even further, and then was slapping himself in the helmet. And I'm like, bro, the whole play, you killed it faster than a whistle from the ref. So, just an absolute stud. Stone every single week is just continuing just to show us that he's dependable. That line was great, and they didn't run out Jaden. He's a little dinged up. Gave him some extra breath, and then Don Williams either.
Yeah, you didn't have to play either one of your star linemen, and then you get R. Mason Thomas out here causing fumbles. We got 2 turnovers, too. We got a fumble recovery for a touchdown. We got a interception in this game, something that we have desperately needed to have. We got to get our back when it comes to that.
The last team in college football to get a turnover. It's like you look at the stats, and it's like you saw a bunch of stats, and then it's like somebody was joking and threw up some sarcasm at the end of it. But it was great. I got to say that Marcus Strong, just more and more of him, it just continues to show that he's it. And then Jay, our boy, Crazy Danny, got himself a sack too.
Oh, yeah. Okoye got his first career sack. I posted that on my socials. It was beautiful. Jeannie, if you go follow me on X or search on there, I posted the video of Giovanni's catch. I have to find it and see if I can find one that's not licensed so we can watch it. But Giovanni getting that catch. But no, Danny Okoye, Danny Phantom, got his first sack.
Yeah.
I'm getting a little emotional. Hold up.
It's like I feel like with Danny is like a proud uncle, and I'm gonna go ahead and take the credit. I'm going ahead and take the credit. Taking my daughter, and this is a fun story for everybody, but we got for the walk, and there was just one open spot, and I was like, this actually might be pretty dope. This might be right where the first bus comes off. BV gets off the bus, and I think 2 people kind of got a little nervous, and they stepped back, and so my daughter just right out there and got the fist bump with BV, and she turned around, she's like, wait, that was Coach Venables, and I said, yes, it was. Danny, a couple minutes later, double back, reach back to pat me, and so I think I was the lucky charm, and so I'm just gonna go ahead and throw that out there.
I love that. Hank, you were not blind, but in a way you are. They did play. They played 19 snaps, so they didn't play much. That's kind of the point that you made, Coop, is we didn't really play much of our starters. We played 35 defensive players, had at least 1 snap. 26 had at least 10 snaps. We rotated a lot. Stone led the way with 32 snaps, him and Devon Jordan, with Kendall Doby, who's getting himself worked back into game shape. Grayson Halton as well. G-Baby gave us some 27. So you got a lot of snaps from a lot of different people. R. Mason Thomas, of course, led the way in the grades, but we finished 14 pressures, 6. They counted us 6 sacks, which means we had 5 total because we had 2 half sacks. PFF doesn't do half sacks. We didn't hit the quarterback, but we had 8 hurries. But the crazy thing to go along with that, though, is we had 13 tackles for loss in this game.
Yeah.
13. Like, the BV stat that I always remind y'all of is the most important one in my personal opinion. The fact that we had 13 tackles for loss this team is doing exactly what we was hoping for. And so, Coop, I kind of want to point this out as well as we talk about the flowers this defense deserves because they've been doing it all season. Now, I know what some of y'all are going to say. Oh, who do we played? Doesn't matter.
The team
Everybody's
in front of
played
you.
about the same type of teams. Michigan's been putting up numbers on folks. Auburn was putting up numbers on folks before they got to us. Kent State, of course, was not. Temple has been putting up numbers, and so is Illinois State against their competition that's not named Oklahoma. This defense is providing you everything that Brent Venables promised us, and goes back to my whole piece of this is why I have been a staunch supporter of Brent Venables. Shout out to Mike Houck, he's basically the SID, the guy that basically handles all of media relations and stuff. He's an associate athletic director at Oklahoma, senior associate AD, communications and digital strategy. He does all of that stuff for Oklahoma, and he put this out there. Brent Venables in March of 2025. Why am I going to call the defense? Because I'm good at it.
Good at it.
Our defense this is what our defense looks like in all of the key stats going into Texas. I want y'all to take a second and look at this. I'm going to take a sip, and then I'm going to pass it to Coop in a second, but I want y'all to just look at it.
Jay, I like that the only double-digit number that you see is a stat line. It's not even a ranking. Opponent plays of 10 yards plus. Mr. Saban, I've called you out once. I'm calling you out again. It starts with the line. It's the best defensive line in the country. I think it is not even up for debate anymore. It is full of chaos. It is deep. There are guys who are still learning the game. I mean, this is true sophomores. Yeah, you've got a couple of the older guys on the edge. But Taylor Wine didn't have a lot of stats out there. But Taylor Wine was causing chaos. Danny comes in, has himself a violent sack. Jay, it's beautiful. Like, you look at it and you're like, man, 6th in opponent pass completion percentage. Well, why are we 6th, Jay? Because everybody throws. I mean, if they didn't throw behind the line of scrimmage for quick, easy completions, and then they get blown up for tackles for loss. So I'd like to see, like, what's the, we also, I think we lead in where is it, passing yards. There you go, passing yards per attempt, second. Like, people just, they don't want to throw it downfield on us. They don't have time for it. That's not a safe game plan. So Brent was brought in to change this. This defense was a laughing stock of college football week in, week out for years. And
it was.
And they're young. I mean, there's an argument that they're going to be better next year.
Very much. It's very much there because there's a good chance majority of this defense is back for one more year. But listen to me there. And Coop, you mentioned this. Total defense in the nation right now, our average is 193 yards per game that we're giving up. That is ranked what? Number 1 in the country. Passing defense. We are giving up 118.4 passing yards per game. That is what? Number 2 in the country. Country, not SEC. We've only played 5 games. Some teams have even played 6. But this is the average. We're right behind Nebraska on that one. Rushing defense. We are giving up 74.6 yards per game. That is ranked number 5 in the country. Cool. We literally are doing everything that we've hoped that we would get out of a Brent Venables defense. And I think the one also that's on here, tackles for loss per game. We're averaging 10 of those per game, which is number 1 in the country. If y'all wondered if we were going to be SEC ready, this is literally what Brent Venables was building towards for us to be SEC ready.
Very much.
Is to do this kind of stuff. And key things, you've got to do this against good teams. Michigan is ranked right now. We're going to talk rank polls and stuff in a bit. They're 15th in the country right now. Their loss is us. They're still balling. They're winning their games. They're playing the games that are in front of them, and they're winning them. The gauntlet for us will come, but the gauntlet's also going to receive us as well. The good thing is, overall, the numbers are great. Yeah, the thing is, when you play an aggressive a style of defense, you're going to give up an occasional big play here and there. But the point is, the overall number doesn't kill you. You're not giving up 10 big plays. You're not giving up 15 big plays, right? Not per game.
No sustained drives. You're not giving up sustained drives. Like, and if it was like a BV was giving up 3 or 4 explosive plays per game that led to points, like, yeah. But what was it? Auburn scored 17, right? Their leader in the clubhouse with points scored against this team. And I'm going to go ahead and throw it out. Like, 6 of the points were because we turned the ball over and put the team in the red zone. So it's the stats are based off of Jay, right? The teams that we've played up to this point. And you got two Power 4 teams in there. On top of it,
I was told that those teams were going to beat us up. That we were not going to be ready for those teams. This is what I was told. I've been told this by some Sooner fans who were very pessimistic. I was told by the national media. I was told a lot of national media also said Oklahoma's going to be 5-0 walking into this Red River game. But I don't think anybody expected these statistics.
And listen, I think that we expected this. And Jay, there's an argument to say that we haven't even played a complete game on defense yet.
Not yet.
And on top of that, still this is a defense that's doing this with some offensive struggles.
Our offense is better than last year, but it's still middle of the pack.
Yeah.
We're doing
it
in a very special way.
And
only 2 turnovers that we just got.
Yeah, only 2 turnovers. And then on top of it, there's a lot. I mean, if you go back and watch our shows in the leading up into the season, we said a lot of this stuff was going to happen. You have a team who continues to. These are now BV's guys. These are guys who are coming in, and you're going and selecting a few of these guys out of the portal. You also have. Honey, couldn't kill me. There's so much I want to say to that, but you've got right now like starters on the defense. I mean, you got Kendall Daniels out of the transfer portal. You got Marvin Jones Jr. and he's 50-50 starter, right?
Did he play in this game? I don't remember seeing him.
He played a little bit early.
Oh, he played. I
thought a little bit early.
Okay, very light. Yeah, very light. First half.
But you were rolling in. I mean, you got Eli Bowen back. He rolled out there, to start off the game. You were rolling Devon. I mean, listen, so many different. I mean, you had so many different combinations of players out there. That Omarion Robinson was in the stat line. I mean, you're rolling in your number 5 safety, your 5 and 6 corners, and I want to throw out another name that is. I think Owen Heineke needs to really be recognized in a faction that we have kind of given him his flowers right to this point. I got to catch up with him after the game. He was talking with my daughter. He couldn't hold his helmet and sign the autograph because of the broken thumb. He shared with me the story about that. And I was like, dude, you really try to run back in there with like a bone sticking out of your thumb? He said they called for a substitution and I was just going to make it happen. And I was like, dude, a broken thumb. So yeah, and he just kind of smiled. And so I was like, I started thinking about that on the way home, and I was just like, I think he's kind of taken that, like, Stevie wants me to say it, it's competitive depth. But I think Owen has taken that, like, just energy leader, just I'm going to always give it 110% since Stutzman left. But this defense knows that, like, there's everything on the table for them. They can do whatever they want to do, and they still have a lot of improvement to go, and that's what's crazy to say.
Yeah, and you mentioned it. We haven't played a complete game on the defensive side of the ball yet. No, we've given up some big plays. The way that this defense is built, and Hank said it best, this is what BV said we're going to have. We're going to promise an aggressive, attacking, and relentless defense. The collateral damage to that is that you're occasionally going to leave people wide open. Why? Because you're sending enough of a force that the numbers won't always be in your favor. You know what the good thing is, too, though? That defensive line is getting to the quarterback. Teams have already been pointing out when they watch the film what happens. We are in the backfield. So I totally understand that you feel like there's no overconfidence that should be here, whomever you are. But I think you have to understand that that is the goal. Because this defensive line can go get the quarterback, we ain't concerned about that. The quarterbacks are going to struggle to get those passes off. Why? Because they got dudes in their face. Like, we've got dudes panicking. And the good thing is, we're going up against, right now, I guess you could say the luck that we've drawn, because I was told that it wasn't going to be lucky. It was going to be so tough that the quarterbacks that we've drawn have not been as good as people have anticipated they will be when they play us. So that's just an advantage for us. So we're going to continue to pad our stats by having good defensive play. So I actually expect that to continue, because after I saw what Florida did to Texas, ain't no excuse for Dom, Jaden, Stone, G-Baby, R. Mason Thomas, Marvin Jones Jr., Taylor Wine, PJ Adebawore, Daniel Okoye. There's no excuse for them not being in the backfield dang near every play.
They've got the great, as far as like rushing the passer, we got the highest sack rate in college football. And Florida was like 131st or something like that.
They were bad.
And on top of that, we also have the highest pressure rate. So when you throw that pressure out there, you're going to have guys who are just essentially going to have to go, you know what, I'm willing to throw to a spot and just hope that it lands on the turf or my guy gets it.
Yep.
But I went back and I've been doing the stat, and it was Kent State. But they had again, it's like the most success in consecutive offensive, plays was, I think it was like one of the 20-yarders that they had, and then they had an 8-yarder right after that, and then we shut it down.
Beautiful defensive play. That's what we've been wanting. That's what we've been signing up for. And so I want to spend the extended time on the defense, because I believe that the defense deserved to get the shine. They deserved it. I'm just so happy that our defense is this darn good. I am.
And Jay, I want to make a nomination before we move over to the offense.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go and give it up to the special teams. The special teams is special.
Yeah.
They are special. They are making plays, and people are. Owen Heineke rolls out there. Quote from my daughter, again, who now went from like, I'm a fan of OU because my daddy is. Now she's gone to a different level now because of this weekend.
Love it.
Watching Philadelphia, Denver earlier, and they line up for a 55-yard field goal. And Finley says, surely they got to make it, right? Our guy kicked one for 55, and it was good from 65. And I'm like, oh, my heart, my proud father heart right then and there. But every single one of those guys continues. The punter is leading the nation in, the average yards per punt, going into this week. He continues to just absolutely he had one at like the 3-inch line that went out. Satania is he was a little scary earlier in the season on some of those punts. Those things were hitting him and a little bit harder in the chest. But now he had some really, really good returns. One called back of a little bit of a hold. But it's every single facet. The coverage is great. It's the special teams are special. And for this team to go where they're going to go while the offense gets a chance to kind of get some rolling going on, your defense has got to be good and your special teams has got to be good. And those are two things that you can rely on every single week.
Yep, it is. That's the thing you can rely on. Absolutely, no problem. We'll talk more about we're going to give the special teams their flowers as well. We're going to give them a whole section as well as we talk about the offense. But I also want to give a special shout out to our people over there at Sleeper. I'll make some picks real quick. Shout out to them. They always hook us up. They're giving you $20 just for signing up. Why not take advantage of it, right? So let's make a couple of picks here for the night game. I'm gonna go over here to tonight. Let me see. Hold a second. Let me get this to pull up real quick. I think I want to pick on this guy. Let's see. Always fun to do the sharing the screen thing. There we go. All right. Let me run with I want Josh Allen. I'm gonna run with do I want Cook? I think I'll take Cook. I'll take him on probably more. Makes sense to go with him. Ooh, Drake May, definitely less. He's definitely not going to be doing anything. Keon Coleman, we'll take him more. The good thing about this is you take more or less. Ramondre Stevenson, love you, but we're going to take less on you. But pick 2 or more or less on the stats. And if you hit, you can win up to, of course, 1,000 times your money. Sign up today. Use our code UNFAIR. Get a 100% match up to $100. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. And so me and Coop, we've got to talk about now the offensive side of the ball. Got to know how you felt about the performance from the O. We had our boy Michael Hawkins come in and start because John Mateer is out. He had he had a black cast on, didn't he? Brace out there while he's in the field?
Yes. And I zoomed in on it when he was going through walkthroughs and everything. I saw him slap the backside with that hand to 2 or 3 different guys. I saw him pat a couple different guys on the helmet. He was running while holding the helmet in that hand.
I don't understand why he would do that to me.
Because he's a monster, and I had I'm gonna bring up a fun radio personality. I had a little conversation with Jim Traber, and he was like, I don't care what Brent Venables says. He's like, that guy, he's going to be on the field because that's who he is. He's a gamer. He's a bulldog, and I thought, man, that's pretty crazy. But yeah, he was out there. Fully padded up and everything. And now, Jay, what kind of crazy person is out there fully dressed? I mean, that shows the leadership piece, but also it just shows that, he's wanting to be out there for his team. He wants to be out there to help Mike. He wants to be out there to, see, and because there's an opportunity to learn. I mean, just by watching some of those things. And I promise you, whenever he does return, he's going to be a better quarterback because of the time off and him getting a chance to kind of watch some stuff and maybe take a step back.
That's true. Shout out to but Hawkins gave you something. This is kind of what I hoped we would get out of Michael Hawkins in this game. Was that he kind of sat in the pocket and started throwing more. Now, he had a couple of moments where he was just kind of throwing it off. I don't know what it was. He wasn't setting his legs, setting his feet or anything. But overall, he looked like he was trying to get comfortable with his receivers, get comfortable in there in just the offense itself. I was happy that he was throwing it. Now, he throws hard. I'll tell you that. Jeez Louise, those balls be flying. Like, there's no dial on there yet. We got to get a little bit more touch on those passes, but I'm glad that he did that. The run game, I know people are not as excited about it. We had 185 yards rushing. It really wasn't that bad. What I did notice about the offensive line and the blocking was you could tell that they weren't very interested in this game. But Blaylock getting 78 yards rushing. We had a Jaden Ott sighting. And I'm going to be honest. He didn't give me what I wanted because he didn't start. But I was satisfied with seeing him out there run. He looked like a running back. His first 2 runs were, 9 and 11? It's like, okay, we're getting something.
He looked like his running backs coach.
He really did.
A little bit of the patience. It looked different. Unfortunately for that one, the crowd definitely got into it. I think it was they gave him 2 swing passes in a row. The one where his knee went down, though.
Yeah.
He went down on a knee, caught the ball, and then took off. And, I mean, he on multiple occasions was sidestepping folks. He stiff-armed a couple guys. The one, my daughter got it in slow motion, running my battery dead. But she got the play in slow motion. It was the second screen pass. It was like the next play after his knee went down. And I think it was like 3rd and 20. And so, I mean, that was a tough pickup, but I mean, I think he got 15. And I'm 90% sure that at least 11 of them were just 100% him. With multiple different dudes, swinging, going right past him, the stiff arm. He looks like an athlete out there, and it looked different than any of the other guys out there. I still think Torrey Blaylock's probably the best running back we have
right now. Yeah,
but Ott, he showed life.
Yeah, and week over week, our run game that made me more confident that they're going to get better because they've been getting better week over week. So his first run was a 10-yard run. His second run was a 12-yard run.
Yeah,
that's 22 yards and 2 carries to start. And we've been asking the question of, okay, what are we going to get out of Jaden Ott? We got Coop. That's what we got. What I think we wanted out of him, right? Like, am I crazy to think that?
No, because he didn't come
start.
in. I mean,
that's the thing that got me is he didn't start.
Yeah, and I don't care. I really don't care. Like, you got 2 guys on the defensive line that start. You get 2 defensive backs that start. And so it is, what do you do when you get your opportunity? And so I will say that with Ott, it goes, okay, if you can get some usage out of him. I loved the running back passing game that they showed this week. I think that Ott had 2 of those catches. The one with the knee went down, so he ended up with just with 10 yards. But I was wrong. It was 14 yards, not 15. But he took negative yards on that. But still on that pass, I mean, you saw a lot of escapability. You saw some patience, and it looked like as he was getting into it, his confidence was starting to come through. So I was pretty happy to see that.
Yeah, his first 4 carries went for 35 yards. First 5 carries went for 35 yards.
So
that's
7 a pop. That's not bad.
That's not bad at all to start. And again, I'm not saying it's perfect. And as it keeps being pointed out, we're flawed. Yes, we are flawed, very much. But the fact that he was able to start doing some stuff, and that was in the second quarter and the third quarter before we kind of talked about it in our group text too about this, is that it really started to feel like as the game progressed, we started to look like disinterested. Just
very much.
They just didn't seem very interested. But he started off pretty strong with how we were getting yards. Like, he finished the game. You see Ott's stats for the game: 11 carries, 49 yards, 4.5 yards a carry. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that as a start. I need more now. Now I need more. Now that you've got the ball, you've got some carries, and you're getting your head in there. I need more. I would like more cake now.
Yeah, absolute starting point. And I will say this. The right side of the line, who are the more experienced duo with Fabici and Simmons, they had themselves a terrible game. They were bad.
They're terrible. They're awful.
And it seems like Simmons has had really tough days against the lower teams. Yeah. It seems like that has been a bugaboo. So I don't know if that is man, Jay, I just don't know. I don't know how to explain that. Is it that you're not amped up, you're not ramped up? I think that the Deion Burks, he has that -6, on that jet sweep. Kanik, only God knows what Kanik was thinking, because Deion Burks got up and got after him. And so Kanik had some kind of an argument too, and I was like, bro.
There's no argument. There's no argument on that jet sweep, dog. You missed.
You might as well have been a traffic. You could have been a traffic cone and caused more damage.
Euro traffic cone, 100% in that play. And my expectations would have been that he would have given us more than that, but it's okay because he made it up on that run for Michael Hawkins in for the touchdown.
Yeah.
He was the one that turned the linebacker, made the hole open, and Michael was able to run through for the score. Again, no one in here, no one in this comment section, no one on this stream have said one thing about this being perfect when it comes to how we've executed on either sides of the ball. We're just pointing out that we're executing at a higher level than we even anticipated on defense. I thought the defense would have been better than last year. I didn't think it was going to be this much better, statistically. The offense, though, has really helped that because we're sustaining drives. Like, drives are going for longer than, 3 plays. We only had 1 3 and out in this game. Pretty good. When you got a whole new setup. The only other one was we had 4 plays, but we scored a touchdown. And that was Michael Hawkins flinging it in the air to Isaiah Satania. And you know what? We got to give that man his flowers, too. You talked about Satania on the return game, dog. As a receiver, Arkansas, thank you.
And Jay, I'm going to say this.
Thank you.
I don't know if there's a stat being kept anywhere about players who cause more reviews to happen and more controversy to happen, but it's every single game they got to go. An official has to go to the hood and look on something that Satania did. But listen, I think Jay, somebody had called it in here, and may have been you. I think you actually called Kearney to lead the team, and I think I called Keontae Lewis. Mm-hmm. Somebody had called it, in our circle about maybe might be Satania. Right now, he is the best wide receiver on this team.
Hands down. Through
5 games, he is the best. He is the most productive. He gets now. I still hold my breath a little bit because he also has a little implosion factor going on. But Isaiah Satania just continues to do great things. And that pass from Hawkins, dude draped all over him, and he just And when he was getting taken down and he threw it, that was right in front of us. So that's right in front of where our seats are. And And so I looked over and I was like, oh my God, Satania's just by himself. How's Satania by himself? Because that ball was like a fair catch,
basically. And Satania caught it. He showed you his ability to muscle his way in to making that catch. But no, I would like more, but I've realized also one thing as these games have progressed, and the question was asked here too. Like we were hoping that and John, you're right. We better, we should later in the season. We ought to run better. This team seems to get better and better as the season has progressed. It's what it feels like. In the games we were doing that. This game we did not. We actually got worse as the game progressed. It felt more so like that everybody was bored, but I digress.
Yeah.
We are better. And so, as Lloyd asked this question, Jackson and Williams are both injured. We rested them out of precaution. Got to prepare them for next week. I think Dom hurt himself against Temple, but played against Auburn. And then same thing with Jaden. I think they both got rolled up a little bit, but they decided to rest them. No reason to play them in this game at all. But back to my point here, though, Coop. We ought to be better as the season progressed. We should be stronger. We should be able to start moving furniture. We got to get the meanness back going with this line. And truth be told, the ones that are the strongest so far have been like Bedenbaugh's guys, the ones that he's actually recruited. The transfers are the ones that we're trying to get up to speed to the meanness. EPL's got some meanness to him. Zaida has shown us that he can be mean out there when he's blocking. You're seeing meanness out of Michael Fasusi. He's showing you how mean he is. What we got to do is we've got to get meaner. And I think that that's going to happen as we play more players of our guys for the most part.
And, and I wanted to, Lemon just hopped in here. And so now it's time. I talked to Keontae Lewis's father and was just asking him, man, I love it. Obviously I hated that whole play. That's our second offensive play of the game. That happened. That took a lot. I mean, the crowd was very sleepy, and that took a lot more out of it. But dude has no concussion. Said that he just needs to get some rest. The CT scans came back clean. So yeah, no concussion, no neck, no broken bones, no anything. So I think I heard Stoya on the post game say that maybe there's some lack of familiarity in the end zone because dude didn't really pull up at all. And when he went down, I think that he just had no knowledge of what was going on around him. But Satania was down there right next to him. Satania didn't have his hands on his head, didn't look like overly concerned. He looked like Keontae Lewis was moving right away. So it sounds like the coaching staff's probably going to have to force him to rest because the dude's going to want to get back on there. But I'll say this, just with having that concussion, just 3 weeks ago, that guy's one of the toughest son of a guns that we've had in the Sooner jersey.
Really
I think that his dad said something along the lines of, "Yeah, man, I just don't understand why this keeps happening to him." It's good. Now I don't think he's going to play versus Texas. I bet you he's going to ask for it and he's going to want to, but yeah, he's going to be fine.
Send him to South Carolina. Yeah, it's funny that someone believes we haven't improved in running. And I mean, we had 200 yards rushing against Temple. We had 185 here against Kent State, 130 against Michigan. The Auburn game's the only one we really struggled, and Auburn has a really good front. Our next opponent doesn't have a good front. Like, Florida is worse than us in running this season. Worse. They're like 13th in the SEC. We're right above them. They're one of the worst. They were running all over the opposition that we're about to go against. I promise you we'll be fine.
And I will say this also, this offensive line did look disinterested.
It looked disinterested. It really did look disinterested.
It just looked like there was a lot wrong. Now, that you have to you have to bear down. Am I saying that we're going to go out and run for 200 yards against Texas? That would surprise me if that happened. Yeah. But you need to just make it to where there is a threat to run that you cannot abandon and back out of coverage. And again, we probably didn't run anything too exotic on either sides of the ball this week. And I will say that, yeah, I do think that there needs to be padding on that area in the stadium. But Jay, I've been to about 60 games there, and I've never seen that happen before.
It was funny too to even add to that. John with John Williams, my co-host of Locked On Sooners, he mentioned this, and I thought it was interesting. I didn't think about it. I wonder if it has something to do with the painting in the end zone, because there was no color in the end zone. It was all green grass with the letters being painted in, which was old school. It wasn't your traditional full painted end zone that we used to like. We're get back to the crimson end zone now because we're back in conference play. So going forward, it'll be crimson for the rest of the season. But this time it was just green grass. So it didn't look like it was still on the field. You know what I mean? And so when he said that, I was like, I didn't think about it that way. That's a depth type perception thing for a player. If you're just kind of looking at the side of your eye to say, okay, I'm still in the green, so I'm still in the field, without realizing you're actually further back. So yeah, I'm glad that he's okay. I'm glad that, like I said, no concussion, just everything's x-rays are negative. He's walking around. He's probably sore. He'll sit this week, and we'll move forward. I want to give some love to the special teams real quick, and then we're going to talk polls. Thank y'all for pulling up. Hit the like button. If you are new to the channel, subscribe, rate, review us, give us 5 stars. And yes, exactly right, Sean. It makes it much more dangerous, specifically because – but now the good thing is it'll be painted crimson moving forward. We shouldn't run into any of that. But Coop, like you mentioned before, Sandale kicked a 55-yarder. Let me put it to y'all. Let me put it in perspective for you all. And this is the reason why I'm not as concerned as everybody else is about overall numbers that we're putting up. We do play in the SEC. We play in a very tough conference where, and this is just me, this is the way I think about it. There's going to be a lot of close games. It's going to be a lot of grind out games. It's going to be a lot of who's the one that's going to put the weight on the other team and push past them. We've shown against Michigan, who's very infamous for having big defensive linemen that go to the league. Auburn puts dudes in the league from their defensive line. We may not be getting the push that we would like all the time, but as the game progresses, we don't look tired like everybody else does. We don't look worn like everybody else does. And so that leads right here into the special team side of it. When you get the opportunity to let your kicker kick deep kicks, kind of need to take advantage of it. Because in games, I expect, as we go through the last set of the games for this season, Coop, Ole Miss is going to be a close game. I think Tennessee is going to be a close game. I think Alabama is going to be a close game. Y'all don't want to hear this. I think Missouri is going to be a close game.
Yeah.
And LSU probably will be too. Heck, South Carolina is probably going to be a close game. Texas, the next 7 games have a very good chance of being close. And that's where special teams come into play. Tate 3 for 3 with a 55-yarder. It's going to be critical. Miller, the punt god, is what we're going to call him. He leads I think he's tops in the country in like average and kicks inside the 20. Dude is lights out. We're gonna need those in order to be successful and win games, clutch games. Because you're gonna have those moments where Mateer or Hawkins, which I'm expecting Mateer back this weekend, it's gonna drive us down the field for a game winner. And we got to feel confident that we could put on that left leg. So far, Coop, I'm pretty confident.
It is. And Grayson Miller actually number 3 in the country. He is behind now, but I think he had a couple short necessity punts here this week. So he never had to boom it because we were taking the ball over, in pretty, positive territory. I don't think we ever got backed up to where he had to really unleash one this week. But yeah, it is. It's the hidden yardage. It's also getting those opportunities where you had, you had the, freedom to run out there for a 55-yard field goal, Jay. And
yep.
I was like, man, he's about to hit a 55-yarder. I wasn't like, dude, hopefully he can hit this. Like, I felt confident. Now, is he going to miss another field goal at some point? Yeah. I mean, like the odds are that is going to happen. But this is a guy who, is it UTSA and then UCO for Grayson Miller for the punter. So you get a couple of those guys to come up, and now they're playing in this big time. And I believe, Jay, during Texas last year, didn't we miss at least one field goal? I think we may have missed 2 of them. Yeah. So those are hidden. Those are points that you're going to need. And Jay, we want to win games. At the end of the day, you stand with the number going up on the left side. That's what the goal is. And if we go out and we beat Texas 10-3, I'm okay with that. I'll be upset we let them have 3, but I digress.
I'm okay with field goals. I mean, I'm realistic. They should be able to get at least field goals. But if we can avoid touchdowns, I'm very satisfied. We'll break down the Texas game later because there's a lot of stats to talk about that. And I know everybody keeps asking about the other running backs we have. They're not playing because they're hurt.
Yeah.
Like, both Tatum and X-Rob have been dealing with like hamstring or foot deals or something like that. So
yeah,
when they get healthy, they'll play. I mean, you saw Gabe Salchuk ran. He got 2 carries for like 21 yards. Shout out to him, the Puerto Rican Express, as he calls himself. He had a 17-yard run. I was like, hey, that's what I'm talking about. But again, when we prepare for the next couple of weeks, the biggest thing is like South Carolina's not as good as everybody thought they were going to be. Texas now, which leads us right into this conversation. Thank y'all for all pulling up. Hit the like button if you're new to the channel. Subscribe, rate, review, give us 5 stars. AP poll dropped. I had to do a reaction video to it because I thought this was amazing to see. Bruh, we missing 2 teams on here. 2. When the preseason polls dropped, there were a 1 and a 2 or a 1 and a 3 that was just about on everybody's. Neither one of those teams are on there. Those teams, Texas, Penn State. They are now both gone from the AP poll.
Hey, let's add a third one just because I feel like it's always good. But I also don't see any Southern California on there. Am I missing it?
They're missing because number 17 beat them.
Yeah.
But hey, This is a funny one. This is a good one right here. Do we have a Groza and a Guy finalist on the same team? We probably do. To go along with the special teams, we've given up 36 points this season, and we have forced 44 punts.
Let's talk poll.
Look at this.
I'm okay. I'm okay with this poll. Again, you got a bunch of people out in front of us. We're going to play Ole Miss. Now, Ole Miss is the only team that's out in front of us. Bama, LSU, Tennessee, Missouri. And that's it, right?
Yeah. That's all of our...
we have every team except for Texas and South Carolina are ranked.
That we will play against. And I'm super excited.
Which are next two
AP.
games.
Yep. That is for the coaches poll, though. Texas and Penn State still get love. The coaches still like them. But it's still the same. We've got Ole Miss, Bama, LSU, Tennessee, and Missouri all left on our schedule, which could make things very intriguing for us. And, yeah, we probably Deacon deserves some love because, yeah, he has done a great job. But look at that. Coop, I am fascinated that the AP poll actually did the right thing. Two teams that they thought were going to be at the top, and they said, nah, we're going to have to go ahead and just majority of us are going to vote them out off the boat. Shocking. And not going to lie.
I don't think it is shocking because I think that the media polls are filled out by people who actually do a lot of watching of football. And the coaches
majority,
polls, majority. In the coaches poll, there's a lot of agendas there, right? And so you may not want to not have Texas ranked or Penn State ranked because you're about to play them. And so you're going to have some of those people who are instructed, hey, let's keep that in there. I think that you got obviously this week OU goes and takes care of business. Texas is going to be gone off both of them. I don't know if Penn State has anybody coming up. I think they got somebody soon. Is it Oregon?
I think
do they have Oregon this week or is it next week?
Is Oregon this coming weekend? Ooh, we got to look at those schedules. I'm actually intrigued now. Let's see. Week 7.
No, Oregon's got Indiana because that's where game day is.
Yeah, game day is going there for the Indiana game. So, yeah, you're right. Big Ten, let's see who plays this weekend. They play Northwestern at the Crib, so that's going to pull them right back in there. But because they've already lost to Oregon. They lost back-to-back games. Oregon, and then they lost to UCLA. That's right. Iowa, then they have Ohio State, and then Indiana. Good Lord. That's going to be a very interesting back-to-back set after their 2 games. Yeah, it's, like I said, majority do actually watch the games and give us some. And, yeah, Klatt had Texas in their playoffs last week.
As the 4 seed.
Yeah, he's going to have a lot of splaining to do today. I have to go watch his show and see what he says. But we're just waiting to see, honestly, when we're waiting to see. How can I say this? We're waiting to see the official word on if Mateer is going to play. Right now, we are 3.5-point dogs going into Red River because Michael Hawkins is starting. We're waiting to see if Mateer is going to be officially in. And I think that changes. I think we fell in the AP, not only because Texas A&M had a pretty solid win against Mississippi State, who's actually pretty solid this year.
Yeah.
But we don't have Mateer. BV made a statement on that. And I'm curious, Coop, do you believe him? Do you believe Brent Venables when he says that he doesn't expect for John Mateer to play? Is this gamesmanship? Are we doing this?
Yeah, I mean, it is. If there is a chance that he can do it, because from what I understand, is there's not really risk if there's no re-injury risk. Like if he gets hit in that hand in a different area and it breaks, like it would have been like this previous one wasn't even a thing. So he's going to give it a go if he gets cleared and he gets the choice, he's going to play. I think the gamesmanship still, we mentioned this, is Texas has got to practice for both quarterbacks. You can't, if you're Texas, just practice for Mateer. You can't, if you're Texas, just practice for Hawkins. And I know that everybody wants to get, like, it wasn't beautiful, it wasn't pretty. We all wanted it to be a nice little 70-point game, and Hawkins get out there. Guys, I mean, we scored in 7 of our first 8 possessions. A couple field goals, yes. A sack and a bad play and a penalty, drove you back, and so you had to overcome some of those pieces. But I do think that in watching what happened right in the Florida game, and I think he showed up here. Jay, somebody bought tickets right out in front of us. Chad from down in Texas. We were talking. He was watching the Texas game throughout the whole game on his phone, and I was watching the updates. And he finally turned around and he had a picture of you and I on his screen. And his wife said, I don't know much about football, but I know you and Jay. He's like, I know your face. And and so that was kind of cool. So Chad, shout out to you, man. Thanks for joining us tonight. But yeah, I mean, Texas, going back and watch the portion that I did, I mean, Texas got some issues, and there's going to be a lot of openings for us. We did not run any exotic blitzes. We did not run pressures from all over the place. We threw guys up on the line and we're going. But again, we didn't have Jaden, didn't have Don Williams out there. And you brought up a point earlier, Jay, that our guys look refreshed. We're playing like 20 less snaps per game on defense than we were last year. And now they're the hunters. And that allows, with the special teams, listen, we would be if this offense was humming and if we were running at 150, 175 yards a game, we'd be the undeniable number 1 team in the country right now. Oklahoma would not have any holes in their game. Every single team has some kind of a flaw. And so this defense is going to be salivating. You do what you've been doing. You make your tackles. It's going to be more of the same. We've seen it. It's been the same every single week. These guys are getting to the quarterback.
Yeah. They are.
And
they're doing what they're supposed to. Yeah.
Texas has not played good competition. They got down the swamp, and they were playing a Florida team, which was waiting to tarmac their coach at home. And
Man,
DJ Lagway.
I had a buddy hit me up that's a Florida fan, and he said, man, Texas ruined it for us. And I'm like, what do you mean, dog? Y'all beat them. He's like, I know. Now it's going to be hard to fire freaking Billy Napier. I was like, that's a very valid point. That's a good point. He was like, we was hoping to fire him after this game. Can't do it now.
And Jay, I'm gonna point out something else too. They scored 1 touchdown against Ohio State, and they scored, 3 touchdowns against Florida. One of those touchdowns, I mean, you're literally in prevent at that point. And when it came down to the go time, they couldn't do anything. They couldn't move the ball. They got guys back. They couldn't run the ball. Florida is not the same defensive unit that Oklahoma is. Based off the statistics and the eye test, there's no explanation how Florida is comparable. Athletes-wise, yeah, they got comparable athletes. But these guys were not playing ball the way that OU is. And so Brent Venables is 100% focused on that. And I'm at the point to say, like, yeah, if John Mateer comes out and plays, I think this game gets out of hand. If Hawk plays, I still think that OU wins this game comfortably because of the defense. The defense is going to give us opportunities. And now we've got a couple turnovers. You get that monkey off your back. You don't have to be pushing as hard. Those things are going to come naturally.
Fair point. I think that's the thing to keep in mind when you talk about. Like, I respect Florida's defense because they have done a good job of not giving up a whole bunch of points. Like, no one has scored 30 on them yet, which I'm kind of surprised about. They've given up 23 times. They gave up South Florida 18. Their problem is their offense just doesn't help their defense. But the fact that you threw 5 interceptions and still only gave up 1 touchdown on offense because you gave a pick 6
against LSU.
Impressive.
Yeah.
Now the question is I think LSU's biggest issue right now is that Nussmeier is dealing the same thing that Quinn Ewers dealt with last year. He's not able to throw the ball like he wants to because of that abdomen injury. But we got to tighten up. I'm not saying that we're flawless. Again, just a reminder for those in the comment section that think that we don't have any type of that we're saying anything. Like, we're not. We're saying that we've got flaws. We got work to do. But I am very happy where we're at. So we look around the SEC. Texas probably could have gave up more sacks than what they did. Their line looked really bad. Like, our pass protection is really good. It's just the run blocking that's got to get better, more meaner. It's like our guys are better at passive, like more reactive blocking, where they step back and then they turn people. They do a good job at that. They do a bad job at just being mean and pushing dudes around. But they get better as the game goes on because they're in a better shape than what the opposition is, it seems like. We seem to be in a much better shape. But, yeah, some Florida fans were not happy about that win for them because now it's going to be a lot tougher to fire him. So we'll break down the Texas game more later or whatnot. Don't worry. We're going to do that this week. Alabama Vanderbilt was a fun game. And truth be told, that felt like last year's game but reversed. Vanderbilt has 2 turnovers in the red zone, basically, to keep themselves from scoring. To me, that helps Bama, and then Bama went out there and capitalized on all of it. Pretty impressive, to be honest.
If you give Bama, if you give them the opportunity to do something against you, they're going to. And they got to, they ran the rock. Jan Miller looked great. He's just coming back from being dinged up, and he looked good. And so also Caden Proctor back in the stat line. Had himself a catch last week, and he had a 2-yard rush this week. I don't know if that was a ball that they –
yeah.
So just kind of crazy.
It's like a fullback dive, basically what it was.
How do you like to tackle that, dude? 340 some odd pounds? No. Missed me on that one. But they, Cedric Alexander for Vanderbilt talked a lot of mess. He was running. And I don't know, did he get dinged up or something? Because he had 4 carries for 76 yards. And I didn't see anything after that. Pavia led the team. Outside of Pavia, they ran the ball 6 times.
Yeah, that to me is not a good recipe to win in a game where you need to control time. Jan Miller was eaten in that game. But the turnovers hurt him. You get there, that fumble, killer, that interception was killer. And those are the plays that require you to capitalize on against a team that overall plays good football. They started the game off, Bama throws an interception, and Vandy does what? Score a touchdown. That's what you want. And then when Vanderbilt fumbles in the first quarter, Bama scores a touchdown. It's like, uh-oh, now it's going to get back. Then you start to trade scores, and then that's when things get a little squirrely. You throw an interception. You throw back-to-back interceptions. End your game.
Yeah, you got to – obviously we've talked about it. That's why the turnover margin – you got to be really, really good and have a little bit of luck involved too if you're going to turn the ball over and not turn it over yourself. So, that's another good piece out of this game is no turnovers for us on offense. And I think Hawkins had a couple opportunities. He had a couple balls where he, threw some wild stuff. But you got to. I mean, this is SEC play from this point on, and so it is taking care of the ball and taking away the ball.
That's the critical part. Taking care of the ball and not giving them the ball. I don't know. Let me see. Looking at not too many questions or whatnot. Of course, everybody's asking for where are the Texas fans that usually harass us all the time. They are non-existent right now. The only real ones, I know Frightening Truth is probably listening in. He always comes in regardless of how things go. So he's a real one. I appreciate him. Ben as well. He's great. He came in the beginning. So yeah, it's we got 2 turnovers in this game. So now I think that our luck's going to change there. So we'll hope that we can continue that. I guess the next question, Coop, to me is who gets the first sack in this Texas game very early before we really, because we're going to break it down midweek. I think I'm going to try to get with my guy Steven, see if we can do something on Tuesday to talk about this game. But who do you think gets that sack?
I'm going to go David Stone. I know that up the middle, Texas really struggles. That's where a lot of those pressures come from, is up the middle. And you're going to see Stone, Jackson, Halton, Don Williams. They're all going to be spending some time in the backfield. And you can even, you even feel really, really comfortable with, Marcus Strong going in there at this point. And so, here's the thing is I really do believe that this is going to be a game to where if you can run the ball with anything, I mean, like if you can keep close to a 3-yard average, that's going to be good. That's going to be good for whichever team. And but you get it into Arch Manning backfield over and over and over again. You just have to get hands on him. Just have to make it a little uncomfortable for him. And I promise you, all of those defensive tackles are going to have some kind of a competition next week on who gets the most hits, pressures. Yep. And then that doesn't even throw in RMT, PJ. Okoye is going to, Okoye now he's got the taste. So now he's going to have more options or more opportunities. I'm excited to watch that because I see us putting up some tackles for loss and some sack numbers. Sark's going to get the ball out of Arch. He's going to get the ball out of Arch's hands pretty quick.
Can't wait to look that up. That's going to be pretty nice. And as Lemon points out, that is a very nice hat, Coop. That is very nice, actually. Okay, see. And Jenny, you're right. We're going to go with that. We're going to pick Stone. Topher says G, baby.
Is that first defensive lineman or all in all? Because
all in defense.
We get to see some slick blitzes this week too.
Yeah, because we purposely did not do anything exotic against Kent State because you didn't need to. Our defensive front was getting enough push on its own. We're gonna lose our mind.
And Jay, that's another thing is this team leads the country also in pressures by not blitzing. So these guys are getting in the backfield immediately. When you're seeing David Stone, it seems like every single bit of his pressure that he had last year is gone. Like he now is just going out there and playing the game. And I can promise you this, there's going to be a lot of NFL scouts. Dolby for a sec. I like it, Lloyd. You got Dolby, you got Powers, you got Boganowski. You got a lot of guys who are going to be coming in. RSJ. All those guys, listen, they want to go out and they want to win this game.
They do. I want to win it too. And so, with that, let's get out of here. We'll talk more Texas this week. We'll have a show Wednesday. I'm trying to get with my Texas friends. We'll try to do something possibly Tuesday night, maybe do a live and go back and forth and do our typical banter. So thank y'all for pulling up. Hit the like button. If you are new to the channel, subscribe, rate, review, give us 5 stars. Check out our people over there at Sleeper. They're hooking y'all up. They're going to give you $20 just for signing up. Use our code UNFAIR. And if you do a deposit, they'll match you at 100% on your first deposit up to $100. We'll see you all soon. Have a great Sunday evening. Thanks.